Welcome to Instructions Unclear, where we talk about everything World of Warcraft. Today we're going to be talking about the release of Castle Nathria and the hot fixes that are yet to come. I'm Lotus, and this is Shrub Height.
So, Castle Nathria.
Loving it already.
Yep. Didn't get as far as I'd hoped.
No, but I don't think anybody did.
No.
Like even the mythic guilds were struggling on heroic, so that's nice to see. Like that's exciting to see for me.
Yeah. When my buddy's mythic guild, they're not top tier mythic or anything, but they went in and rolled right into heroic. They had the plans of going as far as they could in heroic and then swapping to normal to fill out missing gear. And they got Shriekwing down and then went to normal. So it's one of those.
Dude, it's
the story I heard
rough.
from a lot of people on the forums and stuff. So
it's rough. I'm loving it. Like the fights are super fun. Shriekwing, it's okay.
I don't care for Shriekwing. I will say
it's
that
the intro. It's the intro into the dungeon, so I didn't really expect a whole lot from it, but
no,
it's not terrible. It's just not, definitely gonna rank up in my favorite bosses of all times. Like it's just not there. It is good though. Like heroic's pretty rough. The tanks are getting hit, almost one shot at points, and that's rough. But mechanically, I thought it was a fun fight.
I think when we went back to Shriekwing tried it on heroic, and we knew the mechanics, because when we downed it on normal, I mean,
what a shit show!
Good lord, it was
so bad.
We just kicked the can to the finish line is all we did. We didn't actually like.
It was really bad. It was probably one of the sloppiest boss kills we've ever had. Like, to be honest. Like, I was sitting there. I recorded our first night in, and I was like, I might just wait until next week and use these videos, because the first, literally, like, 3 people were alive when Shriekwing went down. Like, it was something else.
It was fun as a guild. It was exciting.
Oh, yeah.
We pulled it off. It only took us, like 3 pulls or something?
3 pulls, yeah.
It was quick. I'll admit I wasn't fully understanding stuff. I think we found out in heroic that our plan was off. The strategy
a little off, yep.
And so the pulls on heroic ended up going a lot smoother, and it made a lot more sense and was a lot easier.
Yeah.
So
I think this week, going back in on normal, whenever we do the strategy that we came up with in heroic, I think that we'll see that it's a lot easier, and then maybe even go back in on heroic and be like, yeah, this is nothing.
Yeah. I think we're in a good spot.
Yeah.
For us anyways.
What do you think about Huntsman?
We downed it. I thought it was a shit fight. Like, I mean, it's a cool fight, but it was a pain in the ass as a healer. We downed it before the bleed nerf.
Yes.
And had 22 people with us, 23 people.
Yeah.
So we ended up 5 healing it, and we were just for half the fight.
Yeah,
like just hanging on. So,
that was another one, and I think it was the bleed. That was another one that was. I mean, we did it. It was a solid kill, but it was still messy.
Yeah. Well, and there was some people saying in like heroic 25 man, it was ticking for 14k per tick, which is like that's 2-shotting
like
people.
Yeah.
So it's
like 3 ticks, you're guaranteed dead.
Yeah. So it was overtuned. I mean, they brought it down. From what I can tell, is it's a lot better now, from what I've heard.
In a better spot.
So I think it's a cool fight. The mechanics were fun. It was rough doing it that night as a healer.
I felt terrible for the healers, because on so many fights I seen them, and it's something that devs are they see it, but everybody is very fragile right now. Even tanks, like they've said that for tanks are very fragile and it needs to be addressed. So just know that that's something that's they know, and it's coming. They're gonna fix it. But yeah, I know that me and our other tank in the guild, like, we were conversing back and forth between bosses, and it's like, dude, I don't know maybe I don't know how to tank anymore. Maybe that's the problem. But Huntsman was super fun. Tanking that fight, if you're a tank, you're gonna love that fight if you've never done it yet. The movement, and you actually get rewarded if you're a good tank. You'll kill the boss a little faster, moving the bear back and forth, back and forth. So it's pretty cool. I really enjoyed that fight. What was our third?
Dark Vein, Lady.
We went straight to Dark Vein.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Do you know how many people didn't down Dark Vein until like their 5th or 6th boss?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we went straight to Dark Vein. What do you think about that fight?
I love that fight. I think it's
too.
a great fight. I had a ton of fun on it. We didn't down it till after the minor nerf.
Right.
So close. We had 2 perfect pulls, and it was just we just couldn't get the DPS there. But it was a ton of fun. Like,
I think even our wipes. Yeah, even our wipes were fun. Like, getting to that enrage timer every time. Like, we had 3 pulls that we hit the enrage timer, and it's just like I still had fun fighting it. Like, it was still a good fight.
Yeah,
so,
we had everyone up. It was for us. It was just a DPS check. Yep. And then when they nerfed it a little,
went back in, and we had a couple pulls where it was iron the kinks back out of learning the fight again, but it went down fairly easy.
Yep.
So that was a good fight. The mechanics of it, there's a lot of mechanics, so just make sure you're looking into them, because it's seriously probably the most mechanical fight in there that we've seen so far. So yeah, really fun fight though. Zymox, oh dude, I was so excited for that fight. That's like my favorite fight.
The getting pulled in and having to choose to fight it or just dive through and hope you don't get killed.
Yep.
That is interesting. I made the wrong choice a few times.
Yeah, but that's why it's so cool, because it's like, classes with movement abilities, like my demon hunter, I would leap out, or monks can chi torpedo or roll or whatever. You still have to time those perfectly, because the pull is so strong that it's like almost instant. You're right back into it. So another absolutely awesome fight. Like, I thought it was great.
It's a terrible fight to die on as a priest though, because everyone else dies and you can kind of you just see their health bar disappear and you're like, oh, okay, they died and you're good. You see me die and there's a glowing angel standing in the mechanic of this is what you died to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little.
You don't get to move. You get to let everybody know that you died to stupid. It's great. Right on the edge. You were almost out of it. Just so close. Or right by the portal before you get ported out, just inches away.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. But I mean, still, it's a fun fight.
I think that, that's all the further that we've gotten as a guild.
No, we did Hungry and Destroyer, right?
Oh, God, yeah, we did Hungry and Destroyer was our 3rd boss, right? Yeah, and Nerva was our 4th boss. Okay. All right, I was going to say,
okay, you're right.
Was Nerva. Yeah, Hungry and Destroyer. Another, I thought, was a fun fight.
It wasn't bad.
It's pretty straightforward.
It wasn't anything special, but it wasn't boring. It was
your typical tank and spank kind of thing going on. There's a few mechanics, you run out, you run together, whatever, but I think the raid is just, I love it.
I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. I can't wait to get more progression in and, learn the other bosses. I'm excited to see Council. I think that's going to be a blast. I'm not too excited about, Stone Generals. Oh, that one doesn't look fun to me. But, for the most part, every fight in there that I've seen it looks great.
Yep.
Can't wait for the world first race.
That is going to be interesting. The fact that they struggled on heroic so bad. I don't think I've ever. I haven't watched every world first race, but I've caught majority of the last 10 or so.
Same.
I don't remember them struggling this bad on heroic.
No, so I know that like Limit, they were running splits. They got to Sledge Fist and they started running splits until they got enough gear that they felt like they could possibly kill it.
Yeah.
And we're talking like these guys were running splits for 12 hours, 16 hours, just trying to get a little bit of gear on their main tunes to try to finish the boss. So it's going to be interesting for sure. Did you see the meme of Method that Method actually put out?
No. They actually put out a meme?
Yeah. So I was a little I'm a Sko fan. I think he's a very good leader. And if you don't know that, like now everybody knows, but he put out a video, Method did, and it was the scuffed world first race. And pretty much what they're saying is we're going to compete, but we'll be happy with top 10.
Oh, okay.
So watching that, it changed my idea from, God, I hope that they do really well. And if they don't, they could be a meme into, they just want to have fun right now. Like, well, they're just trying out this tier.
That's what I was thinking. That was what I was thinking they should do is, you know, run it like they're gonna compete for it. Because that's racing for world first is a whole different thing than running your normal raid. Like,
right.
It's the 16 hours a day, insane schedules, like, you know, but that's something you have to practice. You can't just roll in and be like, yeah, we're going to raid 16 hours a day and get world first. Like it's a whole different mindset. So I think them going in and being like, you know, we'll be there. We're going to put the time in, but you know, if we get top 10, we'll be stoked. I think is
right.
Because you have to, it's a whole new group of people. These people don't know each other. I mean, some might, you know, I don't know the exact dynamics, but it's the other, you know, Echo, old Method.
Right.
They've been running together for how many expansions? Majority of them, anyways. Like that's
right.
You can't just build that kind of a team in a couple months.
Yeah. Well, that's just like us. People asked, you know, why does it seem like we're doing well right now? Well, we cleared all last X-Pack together. Like, we've only added a few bits and pieces here and there. We know how we play together. People know how I explain a fight. So it makes things a little easier this time. And having that for... How many expansions have they been the #1 guild?
Yeah.
You know, just moving into Echo. I know Limit got world first, heroic, Castle Nathria, but I think Echo came in second on that. So it's going to be tight between those two for sure.
Yeah.
It'll be a good race. I'm excited to see it. Can't wait.
Speaking of Castle Nathria, the lulls with it DCing people.
Oh my God, dude.
You heard
they
about
were
that?
Complaining about that so bad. Limit was actually, I was watching their raid leader stream and he was explaining how it was happening. And I was like, man, that sucks. Could you imagine if they get to it on Mythic and it's not working still?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's going to be bad.
Yeah. Like, you're talking like normally getting a Mythic last boss of the raid down, you're looking at 300 to 500 wipes. With a mechanic screwing up and everybody getting DC'd halfway through the fight, you're looking at 1,000 or more. Like, could you imagine?
No, that's nuts.
Yeah, that's rough. Because he was saying if you got blood price on you, which it targets 3 people, if you got blood price on you, or you were standing next to someone who had blood price, and the transition happened where you went from top floor opens and you go down, you would DC, and so would the person that was standing next to you. So they would go down and you would legitimately see, like in his chat log, 6 people go offline and you're like, sorry. So they had to like get it perfect for them to even get it down.
Which is going to be so much harder to do on Mythic if that's still happening. Like,
yes,
God,
100%.
I will be extra impressed if it's still happening and they pull it off, though.
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't think it'll still be. I feel like Blizzard has looked at this world first more than they've looked at any other one.
What
The way that they've set things up.
I feel like in general, I mean, it's kind of coming back to the gear loot thing, but it seems, they got rid of Titan forging and War forging and don't want loot falling from the sky.
Yeah.
Mythic plus are dropping less. Raids.
What is it? 2 pieces?
It's one. Mythic plus is 1 piece of loot if you time.
Okay.
No, it's guaranteed 1 piece, and then each E plus is an added piece, I think. Whereas before, I think you could get 2. But you've seen it even in Mythic Zeros, it's dropping less loot than before.
Yeah.
They're nerfing the Castle Nathria loot from 5 to 3 for 20 mans.
Yep. What's that mean for smaller groups?
It goes down.
Is it 1?
The 10 man?
Is it going to be 1 piece?
Oh. I would assume so. There's a chance that 1 piece of loot,
Could you imagine the amount of time that it's going to take to gear up? Oh my god.
But
I don't know if I'm happy with that. I don't know how I feel about that. But
initially, I
with
like
Mythic
it.
Plus. Yeah.
That's my thing, is initially I like it. Because in BFA, if you put 3 solid weeks into a tune, you were geared out. You were
right.
I mean, full heroic, getting into Mythic item level raid gear via Mythic Plus.
Right.
It was just not hard to just bang stuff out and get a shit ton of loot. So I think slowing it down is overall good. Did they go too far? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
You can't, I've seen plenty of Reddit posts of people running 10 dungeons and getting 2 pieces of loot, and it's okay, well, you got lucky. That could happen in BFA too. I knew plenty of people that ran a shitload of dungeons and got 2 or 3 pieces of loot and were salty about it. So it's kind of.
See, I'm sure that there are people even in our guild that have ran into that problem. I'm not one of them. I have gotten extremely positive. I've gotten extremely lucky whenever it comes to that. Yeah, you're one of them, right?
I leveled the wrong 2. 182.
182. Yeah. So I'm 192.
I had to go buy PvP gear to get up there. It wasn't even heroic. I had normal, neck, and chest piece. Couldn't replace. 2 mythic world tours, bunch of heroics. Just never saw it. So I went and bought the PvP pieces.
Wow.
And upgraded them because there was just it wasn't there.
Yeah, that's rough.
But I have gotten 5 sandals, my boots.
Right.
Gotten fucking 5 of them. So I mean, I get the frustration with it. I've definitely been on the short end of loot. We took my brother into mythics and ran 5 mythics, and he jumped 20 item levels.
Yeah.
So it's one of those my monk.
I mean, we were feeding him though.
We were feeding him a bit, but it's still his drops were way better than I was getting.
Yeah.
BFA, my monk was my loot king.
Right.
My monk just never failed to get me loot. It was
you wasted all your luck on your monk.
Oh yeah, it was stupid. So it's one of those it happens. You can get unlucky. At this point, I wouldn't say it's undertuned because I've seen people not have. I've just been unlucky. I don't know what to say about it. Does it suck? Yeah, a little bit, but I'll get there.
I mean, thinking back to, classic 40 man, 3 pieces of loot, really not that big of a difference.
No.
20 man, 2 pieces of loot, 20 man, 3 pieces of loot. Yeah. So it's actually better odds still.
Yeah. No, I think it's, like I said, I like the concept of the change. I think pulling the loot in a little bit is good. And it's time will tell how good or bad that is. It's going to make the mythic race interesting.
Oh, 100%.
Because they can't. They're gonna be limited. You can run Mythic Plus all day, but if you're not getting, if there's less loot to be had, you're gonna be less geared.
Mythic Plus only does so much, like you're talking 30 minutes per run for hopes of one piece of gear.
Yeah.
So there's only so much it can do. But then again, these guys are running splits on how many different tunes. Just trying to get their best one up, like who was it? Maybe it's Gingy from Echo. I'm not sure. I know he has whoever it is has 3 different of the same class. And he just runs splits on every one of them, and whichever one gets most geared, that's the main. That's his plan. And I'm like, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. If that's what you got to do to be in the race for world first, that's what you got to do. If you're going to put in the time,
yep,
do your thing. I'm not playing 3 of the same tune. I'm just not doing it.
If I was in a world first race guild, I sure shit would.
Oh yeah. But yeah, for sure.
for my level of play, not a chance.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm not gonna. These guys are rating before world first race. These guys are rating 12 to 16 hours a day getting ready for world first whenever it comes out next Tuesday.
Yep.
And they're saying that world first is going to take 10 to 14 days. That's what they're saying. I don't know, man. I think this is one of the longest tiers I've seen that took people even just normal people getting normal Castle Nathria down.
Yeah.
It took guilds a while. Usually you see, full raids going down in a couple days. Yeah, it's, been a couple days, but we still only have how many guilds that have actually completed the raid.
Yeah.
There's nobody on our server that has.
Well, I think that I know, talking to one of my buddies, he said quite a few Mythic people are irritated between the lower loot drop and then the over tuning of the first tier, because that's what a lot of people expected. I mean, there's many a first raid for an expansion is fairly easy compared to the last tier, and I think everybody kind of expected that, which is why a lot of guilds rolled into heroic first, and then you find out that's not working this time around.
Not the case.
So
yeah, I was seriously thinking last night whenever we went into heroic on Shriekwing, I was like, it's gonna be nothing. This is gonna be nothing. This is gonna be first boss will be fine. Nothing to it.
Yeah.
No problem. Went in there, and the first time he smacked me, I was like, oh shit, man. This is a little harder than I imagined. And I'm sitting at almost 50,000 HP. That's nuts that he's hitting me that hard. Me and Tierney were getting 3-shot.
Yeah.
And that's after the taunt. So it was nuts. Absolutely crazy. I can't wait to see how it goes. First tier. Oh, I'm excited.
Upcoming class tuning, since we first week of raids out of the way, some classes looking a little more stonk than others, and some surprises, I'd say.
So the threat, tank specializations, threat generation for all tanks increased by 10%. I don't see that as, that was needed 100%. I know right now I'm having a really hard time with boomkins. It's not really anybody else, but boomkins are, Wiggles is a problem for me. I go into a dungeon with him, it's I have to have taunt off cooldown for him.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that for sure.
Yep. The who is it? It looks like Death Knight. I've heard reports of Sub Rogue getting nerfed. I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, I don't see anything on Sub Rogue yet. Shaman taking that healing nerf though. Yeah, 4%. All healing abilities reduced by 4%, and then healing rain reduced by an additional 10%.
Yeah.
Are they gonna nerf them to the ground where they sat early last X pack where they were nothing? Nobody even wanted them.
I think, I don't know, because they came in And initially, they flip flopped from what I was reading in beta. They looked really good at the beginning of beta, and then they dropped down, and they still look good for raid, but they weren't Mythic Plus. And then kind of toward the end of beta, it was like shaman for everything. Just run shaman. And I even saw it in some streams. Some teams were running like double or triple resto shamans and a couple holy priests. Like,
right.
And I'm like, that's odd. It's just not a common thing to see from my experience. And then, I almost rolled resto shaman because of how good they were.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't. Rolled priest and happy with my choice, but I think it's interesting that they're getting. We don't have one. I haven't run with one, so I don't know how they actually compare.
Shrink leveled her shaman, and she was going to start bringing it into the raid, and then she started looking at these nerfs, and it's like, is 14% off of your healing rain going to be huge? Because I mean, healing rain is a lot. You know what I mean? Like,
huge.
That's pretty big. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's just to feel it out and see where it goes, kind of thing.
Fury getting a buff. All abilities increased by 5%.
From what I understand, they needed it. I don't know if that's true or not, but our warrior was running Fury, switched to arms, and increased his DPS by like 1,500 or more.
Yeah, he almost doubled his DPS on that.
Yeah, like it was an insane difference. So Chaos Bolt damage increased by 22%. Holy cow. Aren't Destruction Warlocks like pumping right now and they're getting an increase? What is that? All Affliction. Okay, my bad. I could be wrong. It could be Affliction that's really pumping hard.
Yeah, I don't know on that one. I know my buddy that is the Boomkin is adamant that Boomkins don't need a nerf, but then showed me his logs from who was that? Sludge Fist?
Okay. Which is pretty much a patchwork style fight.
And he beat the Marksman Hunters. He was at 3,200 and both their Marksman Hunters were at 2,900. I mean, he's a good player. I mean, I'm not knocking, not saying the class needs a nerf. I don't know.
Well, that's just
from what I've seen, they seem like one that might be catching the nerf bat.
Yeah. Well, that's just like our healer. He plays Boomkin for his off spec, and there's times where I see him DPS, and I'm just like, what is that? Like, there's people that main spec DPS, and they're doing less than you, and your off spec is blowing everybody out of the water. Like, it's stupid. So I can see that for sure.
So yeah, it seems like they're tuning. I almost won't be surprised to see another either midweek tuning pass after Mythic drops or one the following week.
Yeah.
There's the hot fixes for December 11th, which is pretty much all the buffs or nerfs we just talked about, but they're not kicking in until Tuesday with the realm restart.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say because December 11th we got a 10% threat increase with realm restarts on Tuesday. Okay, I got you. Okay, so a lot of these are the changes that we were just reading about.
Yeah.
But they're not actually going to be active until Tuesday.
And then, we got the Castle Nathria extra loot getting nerfed.
Which actually, that came in today. This morning, they did a regional restart and brought that in.
Then, some boss tuning. Increase the healing done on Sun King Salvation. So I think they're abundantly aware of how difficult the raid was, which I prefer. It would be shitty for it to be easy and then them make it harder as opposed to bring it down. Because if it's too easy, you're going to get a whole bunch of guilds just go, fuck raid time. Everyone's on. Let's blast it because people are one-shotting 10 out of 10.
Bosses. And
they're just going to rip through to get the gear and get a head start on everybody. So I would say bringing it out a little on the stiff side and pulling it back is probably the better play. As frustrating as it might be for people,
Right.
you go in and get hard stuck on a spot that you're like, this, we should be doing this just fine. So, Torghast has been quite the. I've seen some anima buffs for rogues because I know they were struggling.
I haven't seen anything big for mages, but I've heard a lot of mages complaining about Torghast. Them not being able to complete it without someone, or possibly getting a tank to run along with them, or whatever it may be. I feel like mages might be the next on the list for a buff in that aspect.
Yep, that wouldn't surprise you. I don't know. I really like Torghast. I enjoy it. I think it's a little hard because like 3/4 of the time I've tried to do it with 2 people, I just can't.
Right.
I've been successful soloing it on my priest, either discipline or shadow. I got lucky one run with anima power and one shot the last boss.
That's amazing.
I mean, so I think leaving that stuff like that in is cool, but I don't think tuning it around the fact that you can one shot the last boss is the move.
Right.
I don't know. I do feel like it's a little on the hard side, and I'm not even sure tuning needs to change as much as I don't like how random the anima powers are. Like you go in, you can get, talking to some hunters, you can get 3/4 of the way through a run and have not gotten what you need to kill the boss.
Yeah.
And so you just know your run's scuffed. Like you're gonna go there, you put 45 minutes of time in or whatever, you're gonna try it, but you can't do it, so you start again and hope you get the right anima power.
Yeah, but the likelihood of getting it down is slim, so you're kind of in a bad spot. Yeah, I can agree.
So I feel like anima.
I don't know how they would balance that.
I don't either. I don't necessarily have an answer. I just feel like the difficult, as someone who can solo it pretty routinely, even when I don't get the right rolls, I feel like the difficulty's okay.
Right.
Some stuff I think is annoying, but I think the difficulty isn't too bad, especially since I'm not even in full mythic 0 gear yet, so
right.
I think that.
Well, you know how they have ranked it, right? So layers 1 through 3 are normal difficulty. Layers 4 through 6 are supposed to be heroic difficulty, and then next week we'll be able to do 7 and 8, and that's supposed to be mythic difficulty.
Now, is that mythic dungeon or raid difficulty?
Mythic dungeon.
Okay.
So virtually whenever you go in there, you're soloing. I mean, I'm sure it scales based on your character only going in by itself versus, a 5-man dungeon or whatever, but you're still soloing a mythic level boss next week.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah. I think it should be, again, I think it should be doable without having to rerun and hope you get the right anima powers.
Yeah.
So whether they leave the anima powers alone and nerf it to some middle ground, or bump up how you can get anima powers. I mean, there's vendors in there, so it's how do you want to do that? You could make the good anima power drop, but make it cost a shit ton of phantasma.
Yeah, so that you actually have to complete full clears,
clear everything.
Yeah,
but then you can do it. So
right.
I don't know.
So it's like that thing where you can either take a chance and see if you can get through and complete it without that anima power that you so desperately know you need, or you can just go ahead and take the time and do a full clear and get the phantasma that you need to buy said anima power. Yeah, I think that that would actually be a really good way to do it because it gives people the option of trying or just do what you got to do.
Yeah. And I know
I think that
some of the people I've run with that struggle to solo or even duo it were undergeared or still learning their class. Didn't
right.
they weren't the greatest player, so it's going to take practice for them to not stand in the bad.
Right.
Get your interrupts going, that kind of stuff. Because that's a big one for me. Is blocking interrupts, fearing things. I can muddle my way through it.
Right.
But some of the people I've run with, they don't move, they don't interrupt.
Yeah, they don't move, they don't interrupt. Yep.
You're just like
in there.
You're in your own way at that point. I'm sorry. Like it's supposed to be challenging.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I would agree. I do think that, and maybe a lot of people will think I'm wrong for this, but I do feel like they should bring it down to 4 levels instead of 6.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like floors. Like make it as hard as it is, but I just feel like the only problem that I have with Torghast is the amount of time that you put into it to get to the last boss. So, like, just let me get there a little faster. Like, take 1 floor away. Make it the 5th floor. You know what I mean? Like, give me at floor 3, you clear 2 floors. At floor 3, we get the vendor. Then another floor, and then the boss. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's a very long process. Whereas you could go run a dungeon in under the time it takes you to do a level 6 Torghast.
Yeah, I could see that. For me, I don't. The first 2 are like a slog to get through on my priest. Like I have to go slow.
Right.
But then, after the vendor on floor 3, I'm usually rolling pretty good, so I get through it a lot quicker. In Shadow, I go from, I'll start out at 2k DPS, and by the time I get to floor 4, I can be at 4 to 5k pretty typically. So,
and see, it might be because I'm a tank. That might be why I'm complaining, is that it does take me a little bit longer to kill these things. Like, yeah, it doesn't kill me. Like, none of the stuff in there's going to kill me. But whenever I'm looking at a full clear of a level 6, a layer, 6 Torghast, I'm looking at 45 minutes to an hour. Like, there's nothing I can do to get out of that.
Question for you. Have you tried getting good?
I've tried. It doesn't work. We all know this. I've tried and tried and tried. It just doesn't work. But that's my only complaint with Torghast is the amount of time that you have to put in to actually get through a level. Even people asking for help, I don't mind going and helping them, but at the same time I'm like, oh, that's an hour of my time. Like I don't care, but I could be doing a key right now or something.
Sure sounds like you care.
I don't care. I don't, but I'm just saying bring down the time just a little bit. Give me 1 less floor. Let's do it on floor 5. Let's finish it on floor 5. Why did we go 6?
Blizzard, I could have killed 2 keys by now.
Wow.
But I'm in Torghast.
That's so toxic. Let's talk about keys a little bit before we move on. What do you think about the keys? Like the ramp up?
I've liked it. I mean, it's proven, you've got the guys that were doing, the 25s or 30s last expansion already clearing 15s, like no surprise there. But I've enjoyed it. It's been fun climbing the ranks. Like my goal this expansion is to get up to the 20 key mark, assuming that it's the similar kind of mark as end of BFA.
The equivalent of last XPAC's 20 is where you want to be.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's the first tier. You literally start at ground zero and climb your way up, and So I've been enjoying it. You get to a 6 and it starts
Really bogging down.
getting difficult. You gotta, your people gotta be paying attention. I mean, we
The
timed
ramp
it.
up from 6 to 7 is very large. Very
So
large.
I've been enjoying it. I think it's good fun. I like the dungeons. A couple are a little annoying, but kind of to be expected. There's always a couple annoying dungeons.
So whenever I was just doing regular mythics week 1, I felt that there were a lot of really annoying dungeons that I didn't care to ever see again. Since I started running Mythic Plus, I don't really mind them as much. And I don't know why that is, but it's just not as bad for me. Like,
I still don't care
mind
for
them.
What is it?
Necrotic
Necrotic
Wake.
Wake. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anybody likes that dungeon.
And then the Gauntlet one.
Sanguine Depths.
Yeah, I'm learning to enjoy that more, but it's definitely I don't care for it.
But we all have those dungeons every X pack. I know I do. Anytime that I get, certain ones, I'm like, oh god, not again. I don't want to do it. But I've enjoyed the keys. I think that they're great. The new volcanic affix is something else. It's hilarious to see everybody that's not paying attention to mechanics. Instead of a person being like, you got hit by that volcanic, everybody knows because you're 6 feet in the air. Like, it's amazing. So that's a cool new feature. And the fact that bursting is now dispellable.
Oh my god. That was the one. So that was my one worry with running Mythic Plus on my priest. Because I think I made the decision to hard swap priest way before a lot of Shadowlands info came out. And that was the one that I struggled with in BFA. And when I saw them announce that you could dispel it, it was, oh, thank God. And it has been amazing. Yeah. No, I love it. You guys, you line up, kill 5 things all at once, and I just time my mass dispel. Boop. Gone.
Yep, all gone.
Ta-da.
Yeah.
So it's been quite good.
The only other thing that I wanted to really touch on was rankings in Castle Nathria. Because I think we already kind of covered the too much loot drop thing.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I am surprised. So, kind of pre-Castle Nathria, I don't know how much you looked at it, but the simulation craft for 184 item level of all the classes, that in itself surprised me. A couple classes jumped up there that had me kind of like, oh, not what was to be expected.
Right.
And then you saw a bit of that in raid, in dungeons. You can see some of the classes you didn't expect to be top or sitting up pretty high.
Yep.
But then you go look at the old Warcraft logs,
and you see where they are.
It's interesting. I did not expect it.
And by no means is this you can't go by this. These people are, putting in lots and lots of hours, but to see the people that are putting in lots and lots of hours and getting up there the way that they are, it's kind of the same idea as where we're at. I try to tell everybody, next week the race starts, those guys are going to be going into heroic or mythic with heroic and normal gear, whereas we're going into heroic with dungeon and normal gear. So it's they're not that far off. So if you look at this, it's okay, well, Ret Paladin #1, who would have thought?
Yeah,
Ret Paladin has the #1 parse right now. What? I thought it was sub rogue. I thought 100% sub rogue top parse. Period.
Yeah, there's not is that rogue even I think
he's
that's
sub.
It is okay.
Yeah, he's sub.
But
so it's Ret Paladin. What is that? Unholy DK and sub rogue top 3.
Yeah, the Unholy DK, that one caught me off guard with the Simcraft reports putting it at the top, and I mean I've seen him doing well, so I'm not surprised on the Warcraft logs, but it in general for the expansion, that one surprised me. Ret Paladin. Yeah, didn't expect it. What is that? Is that a Destro Warlock?
Yes, no, that's a Affliction Warlock.
Oh, Affliction. We got
Yep.
Marksman Hunter, Shadow Priest. I mean, we knew Marksman Hunter and Shadow Priest were going to be good.
I'm actually shocked at Boomkin. Like, it's very shocking to me where it's at right now. Like, I knew it was going to be decent, but I didn't think it was going to be like, oh my god, decent.
Well, it was funny. I had a buddy that was wanting to roll Boomkin.
Mm-hmm.
And through beta, it looked like Boomkin just kept getting brought down. And right up that last week, he was saying the Boomkin Discord was, doom and despair about the state of Boomkin. And then Shadowlands comes out, and I've just seen them pop off. Like I haven't seen a Boomkin, even the undergeared Boomkins. You're looking at, you're like, okay, you're doing above what you should be.
Right.
So I don't know what the fuck happened, but I'm stoked for them. I got a buddy that's his main, and he's popping off in his, with his mythic raid team,
and he got like really crap gear first week. I know, if it's the same person.
Yeah.
He just had really bad luck his first week into Shadowlands. Could not get gear. And still popping.
Yep.
So tanks, we got Brewmaster, Warrior, and Demon Hunter. Top 3 tanks right now on the parse. Which is crazy because Brewmaster and Demon Hunter are like not top tier right now. Either one. Neither is Warrior. Like, Warrior is not either. So them being the 3 top tanks to have parses is, I mean, that's crazy. It's probably, is it based off of damage?
Oh, it might be, which would explain
if
that
it is, if it is based on damage, then that explains a lot. DPS, kill, yeah, it seems like it's based off of damage. So
I will say Warriors are my least favorite to heal.
Yeah.
Right now, the few dungeons I've run with Warriors, it's rough, and I've seen Reddit posts, multiple, of people complaining that they just feel too squishy right now.
Right.
And I would tend to agree. There's been a few times I'm just like, yeah, I had nothing for you.
Yeah, there's no healing left for you.
Cooldowns, everything, and that was just one. Like, it wasn't an extra pull. It wasn't anything.
Yeah.
So, I think Warriors probably, historically Warriors have done decent damage. I can't say I'm surprised in that regard, but they need some love.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't have complaints about the other tanks.
Yeah.
I haven't really had an issue.
I haven't been in a group with a DK tank because I do DPS on my Demon Hunter from time to time. I haven't seen a DK tank that I've ran with, so I don't really have anything to say about them. But yeah, Warriors I think is probably the biggest one I've heard complaints of. Healers, Resto Shaman number 1, Holy Priest number 2, and then Holy Paladin number 3.
The Paladin surprised me because that was another doom and gloom class coming into this. Because people were just expecting that to be bottom of the charts, almost worthless, depending on where you were getting your info from. So,
see, and the messed up thing on this, yet again, is this is based off of DPS, not HPS. So, that's kind of rough. I was hoping to actually have some information on those, but yeah, it seems like they're based off of DPS as well.
If you look
which Holy Paladin does great damage if they're running in melee spec.
So they do have a ranking for the classes for healing. Resto Shaman's at the top, Druid second, Priest, Holy Priest third, then Mistweaver, Holy Paladin, and Disc Priest.
So Mistweaver's not bottom on there, which is crazy because if you look in the front page there, you don't even see a Mistweaver until 17th place.
Yeah.
So it's like, oof. But
Well,
yeah, this one that I'm looking at was damage.
So I really like, I know we've talked about it, in runs and whatnot, but I like Discipline for 5-mans. I was struggling with it in Raid, and I think a big part of it is there's so much bleed. There's just constant ticking AoE damage in Raid, and a lot less of the bursty group damage, which is where Discipline Priest is going to do really well. Blow a bunch of cooldowns and mitigate everything. So I'm not surprised, because I think when I was trying Discipline, the first few bosses, I was maybe holding around 2k HPS, and then switching to Holy, and once I kind of got in the groove for that, I was at 3 to 4k depending on the fight. So I mean, it was a sizable jump.
Right.
And I'm not claiming to be, I'm sure I was doing some things wrong in Discipline. Like, it was still a fairly new class for me to heal on, but it was rough. It was a struggle to keep up.
If you scroll down through the Castle Nathria raid zone front page there, you can see like Unholy's just wrecking on Shriekwing. Shadow Priest are just dominating Huntsman. Unholy again on Hunkering Destroyer. Boomkin just completely takes every slot in the top 10 on Sun King Salvation, which I'm guessing that's going to be their AoE. Like, it's gotta be their AoE that's just decimating ads.
Mm-hmm.
Number one parsed at 7,000 DPS. Like,
that fight
oh my
is
god,
just ad management. That's all it is. So it's a healer fight with a shit ton of ads. So I'm not. That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
And then Council of Blood again. Boomkin's taking the whole top 10. Which again, you're dealing with a lot of targets. There's three bosses there the whole fight pretty much.
Yep.
Or more because of the ads. So yeah, I think every class is in a good spot right now to me. Boomkins, you can see here, Boomkins, Unholy DK, Shadow Priest. They're like definitely the cream of the crop on all fights, but I don't think any class is doing terrible.
I don't think so.
Okay, even Enhanced Shaman, which I really thought was gonna just be is not terrible. No. It's not good.
No.
It's not the best, but it's definitely, if you're pushing heroic, it's definitely viable. You can definitely do it.
Yep. No, I think I would say everything's viable right now. From what I've seen anyways. I mean, I'm sure pug groups, the LFG tool, are not going to agree with that,
Oh yeah, 100%.
But that's the way it always is. So
as a Demon Hunter tank, I can't get into a pug group in looking for group. I can't. Like, I have a 349, 354 IO, something like that, and I'm 192 eye level, and I try to get into a +3, and they're like, nope, instantly declined. I'm like, whatever, doesn't matter.
Which is funny because we only had that one pull that absolutely just
real
clapped
bad.
your cheeks, like you were just getting one shot.
And I knew that pool was going to be a problem. Like, I knew that. I even told you before we pulled it. I was like, this is going to hurt really bad. Like, there's nothing I can do to stop it either.
But then you got meta and we were fine. Yep. So it's just about timing that. So
Yep. Just don't use your meta on the second boss in what is that? Halls of Atonement. Use it for the next room.
Yeah.
Done. Like, GG.
So yeah. I think overall I'm pumped about everything.
Oh, me too. Super pumped. Love the raid. Love the X-Pack so far. I will say I think that the raid release was a little buggy compared to the X-Pack release. There was a lot of bugs that needed to be worked out. Launch day of the raid, world bosses came out we all went out to World Boss the minute that we logged on, which was a terrible idea. There's 400 people out there trying to kill it, and all you get is 2 frames a second and disconnected for about 45 minutes. Like, it was terrible. But that's to be expected. I mean, there were so many people there.
Our own fault on that one.
Yeah. But I think that's it, isn't it?
I think so.
All right. So thank you guys for watching this week. Be back next week. We will be talking about a little more Castle Nathria and any of the hot fixes that come out. Thank you, and be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We'll see you next time.